What we have here is the engine bay of a 1965 4.2 litre E-Type Jaguar. As you can see, the engine is fitted with the legendary straight six XK engine. This particular car has been the subject of a full nut and bolt rebuild, and as part of that rebuild the engine received a complete overhaul, including the installation of new bearings, the block was bored and new piston rings were fitted. As a result of the work that's been done to the engine and the fact that it's covered around 300 miles since the rebuild, it's still quite tight, and it's the perfect vehicle to demonstrate the difference between the standard Jaguar starter motor and the high torque geared unit available from Fosseway Performance. What we're going to do today is we're going to start the engine from cold without the choke, just to prolong the cranking a little bit. We'll do that with the original starter motor initially. We'll then take the original starter motor off and replace it with the high torque geared unit from Fosseway Performance, and perform the same test again. So that's the engine cold without the choke, and this will illustrate the difference between the two starter motors' capabilities. Okay, so the ignition is on and we're going to start cranking now. As you can see, although there's a consistent start there, it's not the fastest in the world, and we'll illustrate how this is much improved by the use of the Fosseway Performance geared unit. Well, this is the original Jaguar starter motor, which has now been removed from the E-Type. It's actually in quite good condition. It was refurbished as part of the rebuild, but we've decided to replace that with the high torque geared unit from Fosseway Performance for a number of reasons. The starter motors from Fosseway Performance are genuine Denso units, so they're brand new items. They're not remanufactured or copies of the Denso. They're actually a genuine Denso geared unit. This has been adapted to fit the Jaguar application, so it's a direct fit for the original starter motor. And as you can see, besides being considerably smaller and lighter than the original unit, which certainly aids getting the item in position, the product delivers around twice the cranking power of the original starter motor, but at the same time it draws approximately half the current. So this really does reduce the strain on your charging system, on your battery and on your wiring, which have obviously a number of benefits. This is particularly beneficial if you're perhaps running halogen headlights, or maybe a high-powered stereo, air conditioning, a number of the other sort of modern installations which find their way onto these cars, which also add load to the charging and the battery requirements. Well, the new starter motor has now been fitted. As you can see, it sits here down underneath the inlet manifold, close to the bulkhead on E-Type. The unit's a bit smaller than the original, so once you've got the original off, sliding the new unit in is actually relatively easy. What we'll do is we'll start the engine from cold without the choke, as we did previously. This extends the cranking time, but will serve to illustrate how much more quickly this high torque unit spins this freshly rebuilt 4.2 litre XK engine. Okay, so we're ready to start cranking, and here we go. This is with the new high torque unit. As I'm sure you'll agree, the motor is turning much more freely with the high torque unit. Again, that was cold without the choke, with the same battery. What we'll do now is we'll give the engine a bit of choke to make sure that it fires up, but I think you'll agree that the engine was spinning much more freely than with the original starter.